Hello and welcome everyone to episode 42 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing pretty good. As everybody knows, I'm the English letterer of manga like Kaiju number 8 and Dragon Ball Super and much, much more. Ready to get into the swing of things because we got ourselves just like a fantastic set of chapters this week.
Oh, yeah, we did. I mean, we're basically done with the big fight. It's time for wrap up after this one.
Much. Boy, is it a good wrap up.
We're looking forward to just talking about these final bits of the fight and the culmination of everything. There's some really good stuff in here.
Yes.
The classic One Piece stuff that just gives you chills.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not waste any time and get into chapter 206, Ignition, where we got more Hachi, and it's so
he's as ready
Popeye.
to go as I am.
Yeah. Where he just meets up with the starfish and he's just like, that way they went that way, and he's like, well, I oughta.
Yeah, it's so Popeye.
And then Cammy, that face on Cammy is
she's just got all of the silly faces.
Yeah, she does. It's just the wildest looking mermaid. Who would have guessed? But so Hachi's off to rescue Cammy and get revenge for being tricked. But that brings us into the chapter itself, and we get like the dumbest people, but also like kind of true to life.
Yeah,
like this felt so true to life. It's like these Baroque Works agents wearing Baroque Works gear, being Baroque Works, never heard of it.
You're wearing the merch, my guy.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I feel like that has some real world context in recent years that it could really apply.
It's just how people are. But I applaud Tashigi for seeing through it. And, well, it sort of makes her statement here a little funny where, trust your own judgment on who the bad guys are, she says on the next page. And I'm like, well, again, they're sort of decked out in the gear. Like,
I know that
if they're wearing the branding,
kind of take away from it is like trust your judgment. It's like maybe use your eyes. I don't know. But
yeah, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I
mean, look out for the guy flashing the Baroque Works tattoo every time he almost does something naughty. Like it's literally every time.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they got fan clubs in there too because we got this shirt saying "I love Miss Valentine."
I mean, well. They're not that good at this whole secrecy thing, huh?
No, they're really not. They're really not. But it's satisfying to see Tashigi take them out and her all battle hardened as she just like, we gotta get all this taken care of. And
I think this might be legitimately one of the few like actual hits Tashigi ever gets in.
Oh, that's sad.
I could be misremembering. I don't want to crap on her too much.
Right.
I love you, Tashigi. You're a great character, but I just thinking about this moment, I was like, does she ever actually hit anybody?
I don't know. Either way, we go back to Miss Father's Day and Mr. Seven, and they're just all like proud of themselves, like, oh, we're surely going to get a promotion for this, not realizing just how powerful this bomb is. Like, yeah. They have no idea they're about to commit suicide, basically.
Yeah, they're laughing it up, just like well, I mean, I find it like thinking about them just laughing it up this whole time only because they are extremely punctual when at literally any point they could have just like, oops, I fired early and now everybody's dead. Like,
that is true. It was like, no, the boss said this time, so we're gonna do this time, and that's about it. So they follow orders at any rate, but I love just how almost sketchy the battle scenes are getting now between the rebels and the
it really feels like it's just chaos right now. Like, it's gotten full blown chaos.
Yeah, it's just madness all around, and it just gradually gets us back into the Luffy and Crocodile fight. As again, Cobra still resigned to die, Robin passed out, and Crocodile finally responding to that question, that statement Luffy made last time. It's like, you just don't get it. And he's like, what don't I get? I love the lettering on him this entire time. Just so unhinged.
I mean, at this point, he's just completely done. And I definitely, I guess their last little conversation was the most we were probably going to get of it. But yeah, like that sort of, what don't I get is sort of showing off like their difference in their ideals, basically.
Good way to do it. And Luffy doesn't even bother answering right off the bat. He's just going in for that.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, all right, back to it.
Yeah. and unleashes the Gun Gatling, and Crocodile falling into his old habits. He's poisoned Luffy. He doesn't need to fight anymore. He just needs to dodge. He's getting tired. He's definitely worn out.
Yeah. It's so crazy seeing him like this. Just having spent the whole arc completely composed. Just seeing Luffy having pushed him this far.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, he brings up a good point because Luffy was poisoned. It's like, doesn't matter if you win or lose. You're not leaving this alive.
He's got a good point. Yeah. Like Crocodile could die and he would still win.
Yep.
As far as he is concerned.
Be a draw in the end, or whatever you want to do it. But Luffy's just going all out, gritting his teeth.
Yep.
And all Crocodile can wonder is like, why are you still fighting? And that's, again, we shifting through a lot of stuff and just Luffy powering through. Yep. But it's funny to me because when they found the clock tower, it was 90 seconds until ignition. Now we're down to 15 seconds.
15.
So okay, 15.
All right. Look. Sure, why not? My sense of time, this entire bomb subplot it's just gone out the window.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's so engaging that you just kind of forget about it. It's not
until it moves pretty quickly. The actual number I am less concerned with.
Right. In the moment, you don't care. But when we're doing this sort of discussion, it's like, it's a little silly. Nami has positioned Usopp, then with Chopper on top, and then Vivi riding on top of Chopper. And he's like, hey, stand still. You'll see the plan. We're going to go for it.
Yes.
And Mr. Seven and Father's Day are just living it up. They're doing a countdown like it's a New Year's Day.
Just to gloat.
And hey, time for Nami to get her revenge. With her cyclone tempo right into Usopp's crotch.
So I remembered... that they're basically all like stacked up on each other to get to the top. That part I remembered. I completely forgot and was just dying that this whole the whole start of the sequence was Usopp getting cyclone tempoed in the nuts.
Yeah, which again kind of deserved.
He had it coming.
But good on Nami. She's figured. This really does show she figured out the weapon. So
yeah.
Kind of good for me because there's also like that plus an air burst, so it's not just him jumping up from getting hit. It's just actual wind burst.
I mean, technically, she could have hit him anywhere, but because she hit him in the nuts, it's just that much more funny.
Yeah, makes it feel like revenge. But yeah, that's the idea. They're jumping all the way to the top. Usopp rises up, and time for Chopper to jump off of Usopp. In order to reach to Sanji, Sanji jumps off to get onto the leg and send it up further.
I love how complicated this whole thing is.
Yeah. And they all sort of recognize what they're doing.
Teamwork. I love it.
Yeah, it's great teamwork. Meanwhile, Usopp head planted into the ground.
Yeah.
The most injured one.
Throughout the sequence, I love seeing everybody land. Like, he makes sure that nobody lands gracefully off of the stupid plan.
Zoro's just like, all right, I got to toss you up there after Sanji's kick. Leave it to me. Land on the back of the blade, and they've done all this within 6 seconds, by the way, because they're only at 9.
Yeah, all in 6 seconds. I mean, hey, I could reasonably believe that.
Yeah, I could too.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the stuff a little later is kind of a lot of airtime, but this part I can get.
Yeah, it makes sense. But Seven and Father's Day spot Vivi. And they're like, well, time to shoot him dead. And that gives you their extra stuff. Not only are they trying to reach it, but they've been spotted. And these guys are apparently snipers.
I love this shot, too, of like them looking down. It just sort of like kind of messes with your perspective a little bit. Like it's some cool paneling.
It's dynamic. And again, we return to Luffy and Crocodile. As Crocodile is just like, this kingdom is nothing to you. You're doing all this on someone else's behalf. What's a friend or two? Don't sacrifice your life.
What's a friend or two?
Luffy finally responds. He's like, Vivi just keeps telling everyone not to sacrifice their own lives, but she's always putting herself in danger to save other people. So if we don't help her, she'll get killed. You people will kill her. I don't want her to die because she's my friend, which of course impresses Cobra.
Yeah.
But because I don't want her to die, we're going to keep fighting to save her kingdom as long as she does. And if we die, we die, which is kind of Luffy's whole MO.
It really is. Yeah. He will do whatever it takes. And I love that it is so simple and so straightforward and so in character for Luffy. Just he is doing all of this just because Vivi's his friend. And that is just a concept that Crocodile cannot fathom.
This is the man that's willing to just sacrifice every member of his organization to get what he wants. So it is completely opposite ideals at this point. We end off back with Vivi and Chopper in midair, and of course, we get this panel of Mr. Seven at the side where his mouth is shaped like a 7.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Oh my god.
And of course, the chapter ends off with 7 seconds left.
Oh.
So, but the thing is, it's all up to, like, Zoro is going to launch Chopper up higher, but it's up to Chopper to get Vivi the rest of the way there.
Yeah.
Man, it is a chapter that flies by because you're going to all these different things. So not any one story gets moved forward that much, but it's also engaging that you don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
We got more SBS, but nothing too major other than pointing out the thing that I noticed as well, is that there was the Miss Valentine fan club. I was like, wow, that was really on the ball to mention that one.
Oh, I love the little detail that there was apparently an officer agent fan club at Whiskey Peak, but Zoro destroyed it.
So it goes. But that brings us to chapter 207, Nightmare, where we get to see this amazing boat that these macro pirates have.
There's a lot going on here with this boat. I don't even know where to start. But just, yeah, I love that they have a little, like, kind of carrying case for Kami back there.
Yeah, she's just sort of hanging out, and they're all good to go, and they're in good shape. Like, it's actually kind of a cool ship.
I got the sad little dolphin in the corner.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the poor mermaid. Shame. Apparently, these guys branched off as well, because that main guy just has his own little pirate flag.
Oh, yeah, huh.
So they're just doing their own thing. Okay, then.
Hell of a chin on that flag.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's a chin.
We'll go with it. Into the chapter itself, though, Luffy is on his knees because of the poison coursing through his blood, and it's just Crocodile eating it up. It's like, it's harder to move, isn't it? Serves you right. And this is just pissing him off more and more, Luffy. Yeah. Just those intense looks as he laughs.
Seeing Crocodile just laugh it up like this as he's just completely disheveled it's so funny.
Completely taunting the entire time. It's like, no matter how much you care about your friends or try to thwart my plans, a pup like you is simply no match for a real pirate.
He's just built different.
He is a real pirate.
It's funny that Crocodile can continue to just bluster and bluster like this. Just every time Luffy gets back up. And, like, he doesn't get the picture.
He hasn't learned yet, but he's also...
Yeah, he hasn't learned his lesson.
But the other thing is, every other person he's gone up against has fallen to him. So I get the bluster. Yeah. I do get it. But we, of course, return to the time limit where we see the fuse lit, heading off. Fights going on, swords breaking apart. Zoro finally ready to launch Vivi and Chopper up, flinging them up as the bullets are coming. And they shoot the bullets... And Zoro timed it just in time so that he launches the two of them up so that they get past the bullets and he takes the shot.
Like, I feel like Zoro is just a magnet for getting for brutally wounded in the middle of an arc.
Dude already got himself sliced up and now he's getting some bullets that are shaped like a dice and a frog.
Of course.
Okay, sure.
And I think the dice is just 7. All of the sides are 7.
Oh my god, I didn't notice that.
Which it's a die. Why does it have a 7?
I don't know. The only time I've seen a 7-sided die is from Fortune Street. So,
wow.
I do love that a panel where they're like, you can see them lifting up their guns to match where Vivi and Chopper went. And again, I didn't notice the first time, but now looking at all this as we record this, 7 on his mouth every time. Every panel featuring Mr. 7 is a 7 for his mouth.
I hate it, but it's so good.
And Chopper flings Vivi, shrinks to avoid the second shot.
Which is really smart, by the way. It's a good, smart use of Chopper's abilities.
Yeah, he fastball specialed Vivi.
Yeah, just yeet.
Yep. And she ended up above them, like higher than they needed to go. With 3 seconds left, brings out the peacock string and uses the slasher on him, but misses. They ducked. And it's so appropriate that it's Vivi here that gets this
I
blow.
forgot that Vivi was. It makes sense because she was on top, but like the fact that she's the one up here, kind of getting in the final blow, is like it feels right.
Yeah, and the fact that she is smart, like misses the slasher, but has the run back, which he slices it back and sends them flying off the
Both incredibly cool panels, by the way. I feel like, I mean, Vivi doesn't get into the action that many times, but just like the posing and the paneling that Oda uses, like that is able to frame her peacock slasher with, is just, it's always really cool. There's
absolutely.
Lots of fun perspective and stuff.
Yeah. And I think this also shows just how much stronger she's gotten, because she was partnered with Mr. 9. Right?
Yeah.
So she defeats both Mr. 7 and Miss Father's Day, the partner. So she's hanging out with the Straw Hats have actually gotten her stronger. So go figure. But with 1 second left, we finally cut away because it's 1 second left. We see it going, and it just immediately pops over to Crocodile. Just says it's over, and then nothing.
Yeah. I love the tension building with this flashback we kind of go into here.
Yeah.
Or just like, because you don't know quite what's happened yet.
No, you're waiting for some sort of explosion, or could you see this flash? It's like da-dun, 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 of just people getting hit, Tashigi fighting, Pell getting back up, the palace still as a desert, and then this flashback to, as you said, to Pell and Vivi, how he he sort of spoiled her.
Yeah.
Why they just like, it's a beautiful day. It's like, he knows her secret place at the clock tower, and just leaves it at that. And we go to Usopp asking did it work, and sure enough, she had managed to use her peacock slasher to cut the wick and save it. But then we still got that tick, which...
Yeah, and that face from Vivi feels like, you're like, okay, something, we're not quite done here.
Yeah, this isn't so good. And we've seen previously, Sanji fell on his back, Zoro crashes onto his back, and Sanji's just like, hey, you're alive? And then Chopper lands
on a Navy Marine guy.
That's so good. And they're just sort of wondering what's going on. Meanwhile, Seven and Miss Father's Day impacted into the ground right in front of them.
Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, they got little cutouts.
Yeah, they got little cutouts.
I legitimately did not notice that.
Yeah, slammed right into the street. They are done. That's why I said she defeated them, because they are just impacted into the ground.
Oh, that's great. That is a great detail.
Really should have seen this one coming, because Crocodile has always had backup plans for his plans, but
yeah,
go figure. If anything should prevent his people from firing the cannon, the bomb is set to self-detonate. So maybe like 1 minute more.
I feel like it would have gone off in the time it would have taken to explain.
Something like that. But yeah. There's a bomb on the timer, and it's still like, even though they've stopped those Baroque Works agents, it's still not over. Like the way to continue that tension.
Crocodile is just such a plans on plans on plans on plans.
Yeah, exactly. It's something else. Oh boy.
Yeah, it definitely makes it feel. God, there's so many twists and turns.
You just don't know what's happening. Another SBS, again, not too much going on other than Oda encouraging somebody that had a kid that has a similar name to Marimo, Kuro Marimo from the Drum Kingdom arc, and confirmation that I was correct and that Miss Golden Week does not have a devil fruit. It's just her natural ability.
That's wild to me. But there are characters like that. I think we discussed that at the time. We're just like, yeah, that's just how she functions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Well, let's go to chapter 208, Guardian Spirit. As Hachi catches up to the ship, punches right through it with his octopus fritter punch, takes them all down, freaks out the dolphin.
Yeah.
It's a cool panel.
Yeah, I think it looks like he sort of punches through it, like there's water coming in through the back.
Yeah, he's went through the bottom, and it's like capsized it in some ways just from the sheer force, and it's opened up the top, and I didn't even see Cammy anywhere. Good on you, Hachi. You're finally doing the right thing again. But into the chapter itself, we just have Crocodile's words ringing in Vivi's ears.
It makes it almost feel like it's out of spite. The way that he has all of these sort of plans and sub-plans is just hit like that. You know, if you do this, you can stop the rebellion. If you do that, you can stop the rebellion. And he's like, no, I will stop you. I'll try to stop you at every single turn.
You are not going to defeat my plan. You can try and try and try, but it will not happen. The bomb is there. There's a minute left. and it's still strong enough to take out the city. So they're just like, what do we do now? What can we do? And she just screams out to Crocodile in frustration.
Yeah.
And that's when we see a body standing behind her. And I think, it's pretty obvious who that is.
Yeah.
At that point. But we'll leave the suspense for now.
Oh.
And Luffy, despite everything, the poison coursing through his veins, stands back up, and that look from Crocodile, he's just what the hell?
Yeah. It's a great, just a little like kind of mini zoom in almost. It's
it's like that, but he's like, oh, okay, that's all you can muster. All right, you're still more than dead than alive, and you've got nothing left. And then you flip that page, and you get the classic, I'm going to be king of the pirates. And to me, as soon as Luffy declared that, fight was over.
Oh yeah.
He's like, okay, Crocodile's done. Crocodile goes for it. He's like, don't make those claims so easily. There's an upstart with delusions of grandeur like thousands of others, and you're going to see just how impossible such dreams will seem. And he goes for the hook, and Luffy catches it with his foot and breaks off the hook with
just
it,
the slamming it down. This, honestly, like almost as much as the actual end of the fight, this was always the imagery that stuck out in my mind the most, was Luffy breaking the hook with his foot. Just seeing him just grab onto it and slam it down is, it's so cool.
Oh, it's awesome. It's just
it feels
impact.
so satisfying. Yeah.
It's because it's almost been a hook. It's what he's done to take out Luffy, take out not Robin. It's just like that symbol of like him being there. It's just like, oh God.
Yeah. This is the symbolic victory, and we'll get to the physical one later.
Oh yeah, and I love the physical one.
Yeah.
And turns out it was Pell who, despite getting shot, has made it there, and he takes some time to reminisce. It's like, I had my hands full with you back then. He remembers a time where Vivi was playing in the munitions storehouse.
Playing with gunpowder.
Trying to make fireworks. And she's just laughing about it as she's all charred, and he slaps her. And he yells at her, it's like, no, you never go near this place. And Igram's ready to take him down, but Cobra stops him. It's like, let him be.
Cobra's like, yes, please smack my child.
Yes, because he cares. If anything were to happen to you, my heart would break. And the whole hitting thing we've talked about before, but because of Belmare. But this one feels a little bit more legit than Belmare.
Yeah,
in a way.
Certainly.
When she slapped Nami for saying we're not a family, I get where Belmare is coming from. That's like, no, we are family. You cannot say stuff like that. But this one is like, dear God, I thought you were going to die.
I mean, yes, she was playing with gunpowder.
Yeah, that is not a good thing.
It feels like a very realistic reaction.
Yeah, and she has him wrapped around her finger. It's like,
yeah.
Hey, never tell the king about this because he doesn't let me take you on flights. It's like, hey, this is how you're going to get me to forgive you. And I love that smile of his.
It's an adorable scene. Oh my God.
I love that smile of his because he's always seemed so self-serious up to this point. But to see that really heartfelt smile has been wonderful.
Yeah, I think it was really important for Oda to show us like how much Pell cares for Vivi, and I feel like you could kind of, I feel like it feels like assumed knowledge, just kind of based off of the context. But I think sort of seeing scenes like this in flashback, it's just a really adorable scene, and I think it goes to just establish what is about to happen next.
Yeah. They just had this little chat about like, why are you always training? It's like, well, I have to be ready to fight. It was like, who are you going to fight? Well, we're preparing to defend. So what's the difference? Be intention. And I think that's pretty wonderful there. It's just like that intention of defense versus offense.
And that feels very, it feels a lot like what Vivi's doing right now. It feels like now as an adult, she understands the difference.
Mm-hmm. All he says is serving the Nefeltari family has been the greatest honor of his life. He transforms into a bird, grabs hold of the bomb, and as they all look on, it's just silent. And it's, oh God, the imagery is just so powerful, even though it's like seeing him fly up with the bomb, showing the falcon in the desert, in the desert that was made at the castle, the crack that forms as she reaches up calling to him. And
It's just beautiful.
It is. It is a beautiful sacrifice of it falling, saying he is the guardian spirit of Alabasta, the Falcon, and then the bomb goes off. And that is gorgeous. Like, it's mostly white. And it's still just one of this, like, just a gorgeous page. And just seeing the impact.
I definitely feel like it's one of those things where, as an artist, you can understand of just like, sometimes it's more powerful to just sort of leave things blank. And so having this entire spread, you're sort of just seeing like the outward edges of the explosion, and the contrast kind of, it makes it more dramatic.
Yeah.
At least to me.
In the middle of that sandstorm with the city below, and you can see how the impact is still knocking off buildings and shattering windows.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is amazing, really. It was extremely well done.
Yeah, I we'll get to it when we get to it, but this scene on its own, is certainly extremely effective for Pell's sacrifice.
Yeah. Agreed with what you just said, but
in the moment this hits. And that's what's important.
We do get a little bit of clarification though in the SBS, where somebody asked the difference between a mermaid and a fish man. And because we got Kami the mermaid, but also Octopaco the fish woman. So the difference is the halves. They have legs if they're fishmen, and if they're mermaids or mermen, they got fins. So there you go.
That makes sense. But yeah.
I do like the mention of course, the habitats differ as well, but more on that when the fishmen show up again in the story someday.
Yeah. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Oda with the plans. All right. Well, chapter 209. I will defeat you.
That's a good title.
Yep. And we also get a bit of a swerve here where he beat them all up and is like, but we didn't trick you. Tammy's all happy, but it's like, what?
It's wholesome. That he's kind of an idiot, Hachi, but you know what? All's well that ends well, I guess.
I guess that's certainly something, but all right. But yeah, into the chapter itself, we just get more of the explosion as people get blown away. Tashigi sees it all. The smoke clears above Alabasta, and Pell is gone.
Yeah,
it just all kind of in disbelief in how he saved them all. But people are so bloodthirsty and so battle blind at this point that the fighting doesn't even stop.
This was the harrowing part for me. That just like a literal bomb went off and they're just like, oh, that was weird. Back to it. Okay, time to kill each other again.
Yeah, back to killing each other. It doesn't matter. And it's heartbreaking where Tashigi's commenting on the madness of why won't they stop. And Vivi just screaming her lungs out, stop fighting, over and over again.
This part in the anime really got me.
Oh, yeah. Even still, it just like you just feel
the desperation you can hear in the voice actress is just it's incredibly well done.
And again, that friendship between her and Nami, because Nami just sees this and just starts tearing up, calling her a fool, and she just immediately starts barking out orders. Don't stand there, hit them, kick them, do whatever you have to do to stop them from fighting. We have to save as many people as possible. It is a good Nami moment.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way when I initially read it, but I think that is really smart to point out that it is Nami who's kind of the one of like, hey, like, all right, like, you know, she's our friend. We have to do anything we can to help her.
The others are just sort of in disbelief at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Luffy, still in the middle of the fight with the hook broken off, getting Crocodile in the gut.
It's just good punch, good kick to the face.
Yep.
And
he's kind of smash into the ground.
Like, oh man, it's so satisfying.
And I love this comment by Crocodile. It's like the poison should have taken effect. Where is he finding the strength? And the flashbacks to Luffy, never heard of him. They're still alive. The pirates are in Alabasta. Like, how does he keep happening? And again, another demonstration of plans within plans. He counted for the fact that his hook might get broken off, and he has a freaking knife ready.
So he has the hook, he has the poison under the hook, and he has the knife under the poison.
Yes, he is just ready at all points. But Luffy still dodges it and shouts out that I'm going to defeat you, kicks him straight up into the air.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, it's so good. And Crocodile's just ready to bury them all. And has this Sable's Pasado. everything starts whirring around in this ruins as everything's crumbling apart. Luffy starts blowing himself up, twisting around, lets out the air, launches himself up, and we get the combination of Gum Gum Storm versus Desert Spada, like that thing that just split things. And Luffy punches through the Desert Spada.
I love the slow-mo of like seeing Luffy's fists like reach it, and then he punches it, and then the sand dissipates, and then the next page is just like this freaking double-page spread of just all of these punches.
Yeah, just utterly pounding him as he screams into the roof, just continuing on. And I will say, these are some brilliant panels to see the screams and the way it just goes up, and you see the ground shaking underneath.
It's like so incredible.
As he just punches Crocodile all the way through up into the middle of the sky. It is brilliant.
Still one of my favorite finishers in the entire manga.
Oh, yeah. I remember being so hyped, especially because Luffy's voice actor kills it in the anime. The screams.
And then, I think they play like legitimate like classical music, I think, during the scene. I forget from like what composer.
I forget, but I'll say right now, I'm likely going to switch it to Japanese and have it just be that. As my,
for the end of the episode?
For the end of the episode. Like,
I think that's more than warranted.
Yeah, I feel like this is like one of those moments where it's just that satisfying. You got to hear it if you've never seen the anime. Like this is a moment I'd say if you could look up the anime, definitely watch this part because
it's great.
Oh, it's fantastic. That is pretty much the end of Crocodile. For all intents and purposes.
I cannot believe Luffy just legitimately like punched him through the ground.
Yeah.
up into the sky.
And when we get the like how impressive that actually is in this next chapter, it makes it all the better. But yeah, chapter 210, 0, which marks the actual defeat.
That's it. You know what? He's Otis primed us, with all of the other chapter titles, of all the other Baroque Works members whenever they lose the fight. And here we are. Chapter 210, 0.
Yeah, go figure. And we even get a happy moment for Hachi where he found the legendary sauce inside the top of a grade A ingredient.
So he just missed it is all.
Yeah, he just didn't realize there was a top to this thing, so he just had to break it open.
That's so
and I love how Cammy and the starfish is still with him because he rescinded on the deal but still got what he wanted because he beat those other guys up.
Idiocy truly saves the day.
I mean, the thing is, if he had known about that top, if they had told him about that, he wouldn't have rescued Cammy.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, worked out.
I don't know if he's still a good person or he's becoming a good person or not, but it is what it is. But we go to the chapter itself, and there's Crocodile amongst the high above all the crumbling buildings that are collapsing thanks to him.
Yeah, I love that Usopp's got using the chalkboard.
Yeah, he's using the chalkboard to stop people. Chopper's biting the head of some guy as he's trying to pull him apart. Like everybody's just trying their best to stop him. And I love how in the distance of them trying to stop him, you can see Crocodile's body at the top of that swirl.
Yeah, seriously.
And they all see Crocodile in the sky. Vivi sees it, and seeing all of that was just like, Luffy won. They seeing that they knew Luffy won, and Cobra making Luffy's feat even more impressive. He punched through that much bedrock, and you can see just the layers.
Yeah, just getting the actual visual of all of the layers that he sent Crocodile through is so it's so good.
Mm-hmm. It is fantastic, and it's something to celebrate. Like they're all celebrating, but Vivi can't because they're still fighting each other. And just that, oh God, the fingernail stuff. Oh, that always makes me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that always makes me.
She's just losing it at this point.
Mm-hmm. She just can't take it, and she screams out, "Stop fighting!" And that finally, and with the defeat of Crocodile blocking everything, we see rain begin to fall, and there's Koza shot how many times?
I love that flashback. Trust in the king, it will rain. The fighting will end.
It is a good moment that if you're truly invested in this, you will tear up. Yeah, and just to see that, it's that release, that desperation that they've been fighting for all this time, all these things that have prevented them from getting past Crocodile's plans, and to see it finally break through, to have rain fall on everyone, and Crocodile crash into it along with Luffy at the same time back where they were. And it's amazing, and even better is how Vivi's voice cuts through.
Finally, I think back to Luffy's line when he first came in to save her, when she's like, "I can hear your voice." It feels like now everybody can hear her. Yeah. It's just what she's been trying to achieve this whole time.
Seeing them all lay down their weapons, everybody's like staring at her, and they're looking at Crocodile, wondering what happened to him. And yeah, they show him he's out. He is out.
The nightmare is finally over.
And I love like how before is like Crocodile, not Crocodile, but Cobra sitting there. It's just like, you boy. And it finally goes back to them. You have my thanks. And Luffy just says, it was nothing, as everything collapses
on crumbles. What a way to end the chapter.
We get Luffy's smile as the ruins fall on top of the two. And let's be honest, they're fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But what an incredible ending to that fight.
Oh, God, yeah.
And an incredible end to just all of this that we've been through.
Mm-hmm. It is a grand culmination, a thing that you just can't help but be pumped for and enjoy. It is fantastic through and through. And to see it come to a culmination like this is great. And that's pretty much it. We do have an SBS where we see what Mr. 7 would be like if he got the promotion, became Mr. 6, and had to change his whole design.
The mouth or the combination nose and mouth disturbs me.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing there, but oh well. And we find out that Kureha drinks plum wine. So there you go.
Short episode this week.
Yeah, short episode this week, but man, what a great fight.
We made it. That was it.
We did. And the funny thing is,
he beat Crocodile.
The thing is, there was rereading it, there was very little of the actual fight in these set of chapters. It was a punctuation to what the others were doing in trying to stop the bomb.
Yeah.
And the balancing act with this, especially these set of chapters. Because I'll be honest, I was more the first set, like last week's chapter, I was a bit more like, all right, that's great, but get back to the fight.
Yeah.
This one completely invested in all storylines, and that's an impressive feat.
And I think importantly, because I was a little worried just in the way that the stakes kept escalating and things kept getting worse, and of like, oh, we solved the problem. Oh no, there's a bigger problem behind that problem. Now we have to solve that. And then the way that it goes by so quickly, I think is really important. And so we're never kind of stuck on one thing for too long.
They're making progress, but then there's that other thing, that other hurdle that all of a sudden comes out. And that's...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so seeing them overcome it is satisfying. And it should be. So
yeah.
I think other series, definitely, I don't know, if I go back to the anime, I might feel like, oh God, this takes forever. But yeah, reading it as originally intended, it's like, it's incredibly snappy and it feels satisfying.
Agreed. Oh boy. But yeah, that's it for this set. I mean, again, just fantastic stuff, and time to enjoy the wrap up.
Which is always, again, the wrap up is some of the best stuff, I feel like. Just this journey we've been on, this sort of like, I guess if you want to call it like over 100 chapters of build up, since we got to the Grand Line.
Yeah.
We sort of, we made it to the top, and now we sort of get to wind down a little bit.
Yeah, we had our initial meeting with Laboon and Miss Wednesday, who turned out to be Vivi. All the stuff at Whiskey Peak to learn about the whole Baroque's work situation, and then all the stuff at Little Garden, and the Drum Island side story, and now Alabasta. We've been through a lot for what it makes up the entire Baroque's works arc. It's pretty great stuff.
Yeah.
Whew. But with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 206 to 210 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube, or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter, talking about anime, manga, games, and my job. Kaiju number 8, volume 4 is out as of this recording. Go pick that up, because it's a lot of hard work, and Yeah, that's it. I have some other fun work-related announcements that I can't talk about yet, but I should be able to coming up here soon.
Oh, that's exciting. That'll be fun. So definitely check that out. Check out Kaiju number 8. I hear it's fantastic stuff. I haven't had time to check it out myself, but hey, maybe you do. So definitely do so.
Read it. It's good.
And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER to listen to the next episode 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 211 to 215 of One Piece. Until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Desert! Storm! La Spada!